Everyone, so this tutorial is going to walk you through amortization methods for capital assets, and let's jump right into the scenario. So this scenario, we've got a company who has purchased factory machinery for $18,000. They expect they will use it for 4 years, and then the residual value will be $2,000. That means the amount that we believe it will be worth at the end of its 4-year life, so we can sell it off for 2,000 or whatever. So there are 3 methods we're going to look at in this example. We're going to look at straight line, units of activity, and declining balance or double declining balance, and I'll explain that when we get to that section in just a moment. So let's jump right into straight line depreciation because it's the most straightforward. The reason it's called straight line is because our amortization expense is going to be the same every single year. So we are just going to use a very simple calculation and say over the 4 years, every single year, we're going to have an expense that is the same. So to figure out our amortization amount, which for our first year, we want to take the $18,000 value of the asset, and we want to subtract what we believe the residual value will be. And I don't know why it's showing me an error. I did it last time too. The computer's being a little bit wonky for me today, so I'll just put in $16,000. It's all good. Now my amortization rate, there's a few ways we can do this. If the asset's going to be valued over 4 years, and we are depreciating it or amortizing it over 4 years, it's really simple. 100% divided by 4 is 25%. So we are going to put in, I'm just going to put in 25% here. And then we are going to, for our expense, we are going to say equals, take our amount to be amortized, and we're going to multiply that by the 25%, and it's going to be $4,000. Now, what I can do is I can actually highlight all 3 of these cells. They're going to be the same every single year. So I can just do the, when you highlight on the bottom right, you've got that little circle there, drag it down. That's going to be our amortization expense every single year because it's straight line. So it's $4,000 per year, which makes sense. Our accumulated amortization is how much amortization have we had so far. So in year 1, it's really simple. We've just had 1 year of amortization. So it's $4,000. In year 2, it's going to be this year's amortization, so equals the amortization expense for this year plus last year's amortization. So it should be $8,000. And then I do that calculation for the last 2. So I'm just going to click on this once, go to this little circle here, and drag it down. So my amortization, accumulated amortization, is $16,000. And then my net book value is going to be my $18,000. So I'm going to put in $18,000. And then I go minus my amortization expense for the year. So strange. I don't know why that's happening today. The computer's being a bit wonky, but I'm not going to stop. All right, so I am just going to, we know that it's $14,000. Okay, and then it's going to be 14,000 minus, geez, having some trouble today, everyone. It's a Tuesday too. I think it would be easier. Okay, so I'm going to go down here, equals my book value from the year before minus my amortization expense for the year. And then I'll just do that for my last 2 years. And we see that the final net book value is $2,000, which is also our residual value. So that is how you calculate that. Hopefully you don't have the simple errors that I seem to be experiencing today. The gremlins are in my computer. Okay, so for units of activity, what we're going to do is we're going to base our amortization on how much we use the machinery for. So in this case here, I've been given this list. I'm going to write those lists. So in 2022, I used it for 4,500 hours, and then 4,000 hours, 3,500 hours, and 4,000 hours. So my amortization is going to be all over the place. It might be higher 1 year, lower another year, and it really depends on how much we use it. So our cost per unit, this is how we are going to figure this out. So up here somewhere, it says we are going to use it for 16,000 hours. And so if we're going to use it for 16,000 hours, what we do is we take the beginning book value, or the beginning value that we want to depreciate, which is $16,000. That's 18,000 minus the 2, and we'll divide it by the 16,000. And let's see, for some reason calculations today aren't working if I put in the number, but let's see if it'll work. So equals my $18,000 that I purchased it for minus my $2,000 in residual value, and then I want to divide that by the 16,000 useful hours I'm going to use it. And let's see if, I know it's $1, but let's see if I get an error message. I do. All right, I'm going to put in $1 here. All right. Geez, I'm really showing you how to do calculations on spreadsheets today, kids. So it's going to be $1, and again, it's 18,000 minus the 2 gives me 16,000 that I'm going to depreciate or amortize, and my machine happens to be 16,000 hours of use, so I know it'll be that, and my amortization expense will be equals the units that I use for the year times the $1 value, which is a really simple calculation. And sure, we'll do the autofill here. So this is my amortization expense for the year. And you'll see each year it's different, 45, 4,000, 35, 4. If this was $3, then you would see that the machine use would be a lot higher, but we calculated it at $1. Okay, so our accumulated amortization is the same as the previous example, so it's $4,500 for the year, and then it's going to be last year's plus this year's, and then autofill that. And then we will, that should be dollar signs. All right, and then our net book value will be 18, whoops, minus our expense for the year. It's going to show me an error, but this time I'm not going to let it do it. So I know that 18 minus $4,500 is $11,500. $13,500. I'm really hitting it out of the park today, kids. All right. And then I'm going to go equals my 13,500 minus my amortization expense. And then this. And if I autofill it, I've got a book value, which is my residual value again. So there's 2 methods down, 1 to go. So for the double declining method, what it means is we're going to take, when you see double declining, you're going to take your straight line method, the percentage that you're using, you're going to multiply it by 2. So we know that the amortization rate is going to be this times 2, which is 50%. So let's just put that in right now. And I'm putting it in because of the calculation probs I'm having. Now, we also know that the book value at the end is going to be $2,000. In this case, I'm going to put that in right now. And the reason I'm going to put it in right now is because I don't actually use the residual value off the top. I actually use the $18,000. So I'm using the full amount, and then I just stop my amortization if it's going below that $2,000 number. So for my amortization expense, it's going to be $18,000 times the 50%, which is going to be $9,000. We'll add some dollar signs in here right away. My accumulated amortization is obviously only $9,000 this year, and my net book value is $18,000 minus my amortization expense for the year, which is $9,000. Now, this is really important because I want to depreciate my asset by its book value for double declining balance. So now we're doing 9,000. I'm just going to autofill this down, see if it works. And then don't worry, those zeros will fix itself soon. So I want to take last year's amortization plus this year's expense, and that'll be 13.5. My net book value is 4,500, which is the 9,000 minus the 45. So that's my book value I'm depreciating by. And I do another $2,200 here. So my accumulated amortization is 15,750, which is that amortization plus this year's expense. We'll do the book value again. So now we have $2,250. Sorry, I accidentally deleted that. Left in our depreciation. So we changed this last row here. So it's $2,250, but the amortization rate is no longer applicable. And this is why we want to have a final net book value of 2,000, which is our residual value. So what we're going to do is we are going to take the $2,250 minus our residual value of 2,000, and we're only going to amortize it for $250 for the year, which will show that $1,600 we want to amortize our asset by, giving us the net book value of 2,000, which is what we want at the end. So with a free tutorial with the gremlins, the bell's going today, why not? This may classify as my worst performance in a tutorial of all time in this course, kids, but with that said, I think we got through it. And we are all human, and computers sometimes have gremlins. For free today, you got free gremlins in our computer calculations. But there is straight line, units of activity, and double declining balance. So good luck with this unit. Cheers.